If you do not have a presence consistently on their devices, you are going to grow more and more culturally irrelevant. Hey, what's up, guys? I just shot a video training on using technology and social media to connect with parents and volunteers. And I wanted to talk with you briefly here in the video studio about one point in particular that I made. And I think it's an important one. I want to share it with you today. You know, there was a day where when I was going to work with parents or volunteers, I had something to say, I would ask them to come in on my terms, right? You'd come to my meeting at the church. And back in the day, you rewind 15, 20 years ago when I started, I could get people to actually come. Well, the world has changed now, and here's what I've learned. If I'm going to be effective, I don't want them to have to come to me. I need to go where they are, which is my point right here. I need to go where they are. Now, where are they? They're on devices. They are on devices. Every day, your parents, your volunteers, your employees, the people your company is trying to reach, the people your church is trying to reach, the people your organization is trying to reach, they are on their devices. We live in a connected world unlike any other day. And if you do not have a presence consistently on their devices, you are going to grow more and more culturally irrelevant. Now, I shared in my training earlier, there are 4 areas that I think if you study the general population, that you really need to consider. But because every church, because every market is unique, you really need to look at your specific situation, your specific people, the DNA, the mix of your volunteers, the mix of your customer, who is it that I'm trying to serve, and then determine a best strategy. But if I was going to draw some broad strokes and say, you know what, there are a few areas that really need to be a part of your strategy, it would include text, because listen, we are all texting. Did you know that 95% of all text messages are read within 3 minutes of receiving them? Now listen, I send emails every week to over 50,000 kids pastors. I can't get 95% of you to open your email in 3 days. And maybe I can. I'm making a strong point, and that is you don't check all your emails within 3 minutes, and neither do I. But we check our text messages very, very frequently. Do I have a text strategy? What about Facebook groups? Ryan, I thought people were leaving Facebook. Yes, you know, it seems though it's trending. Younger people are leaving Facebook for other things, but Facebook isn't going anywhere. There are billions of people that use Facebook. Facebook's going to be around for a while. I think you need to have a strategy, whether it's Facebook groups, whether it's Facebook pages. What about podcasts? You know, people are listening to podcasts. It's on their device. The beautiful thing about a podcast, you are listening on your schedule. Whether it's when you're exercising, whether it's on your commute back and forth to the office, wherever you are, which again goes back to my main point, and that is I am reaching people where they are. They're not having to come to me. I am going to them. So what about podcasts? What about a YouTube channel or a vlog? Listen, more and more content is absorbed on YouTube. YouTube is the #2 search engine in the world. You need to be creating content for your volunteers, for your parents, for your customers, for the people that you serve on YouTube. Now, some of you hear this stuff and you're like, you freak out. How do I create a podcast? How do I create a YouTube channel? How do I get this stuff going? The key is you just start. You just start, and you don't overthink it. Now, I do a podcast every day. What you may not realize, a lot of my podcasts and my intros are done on my phone, right? If you can talk into a phone, you can create a podcast. If you can FaceTime, you can create a YouTube channel. And the difficult part, what I have found when it comes to any of this tech, The difficult part, or really anything in life, is taking that first step. The first step's always the hardest. So I create that first video, that's hard. And then guess what? Video 2, 3, 4, 5 gets easier and easier and easier. I create that first podcast, and it was tough. But number 2 gets easier, 3 gets easier, 4 gets easier, 5 gets easier. So look at the people that you are serving. How well are you connecting with them using the digital world that they live in? It is imperative, friend, that you are connecting with them where they are, which is on their device. It's on the major social networks. We haven't talked about Instagram. We haven't talked about Marco Polo. We haven't talked about Twitter. We haven't talked about these other places where people give their attention that you really should consider having a presence on. But as I make a broad sweep and look at the general population of people, here are 4 that really need to be on your radar: text, Facebook, podcast, and YouTube or video blogs. Now, once you start doing this, I'll wrap up this conversation with this thought. Be consistent. Please don't start and do well for the first 3 weeks and then quit. It's hard to recover from that. Be consistent. Keep it brief. Add value. That's a huge one. Add value. Don't just use these communication channels to sell something or to make announcements or to remind people what they need to be doing. Use it to add value, to help them in their life, to help them solve their problems. Got it? Say got it. Okay, very, very good. Listen, meet people where they are, which is on devices. Connect with them and add value, and all of a sudden engagement's going to go up, attention's going to go up, and you will thank me for the results that you'll find.